You are tuning in to the You Are Loved podcast, where we hope to bring love and kindness to the world.
Welcome to another You Are Loved podcast. Today I'm excited. I am joined by Anne Alexis, a holistic well-being practitioner rooted in her faith in God and the belief that you're deeply loved. With a master in mental health, emotion code certification, and studies across 70 countries, Anne helps people gently release emotional residue, calm stress, and reconnect with peace and purpose. Welcome to the show, Miss Anne Alexis.
Thank you for having me, Jacqueline.
It's great to have you on. So, let me go back to your bio really quick. What is emotion code certification? What is that?
Emotion code. So we all have trapped emotions. They're experiences or events that happen in our life that we struggle to process. So you can think about it like how our digestion system works with food. Some foods are difficult for our body to process and create more toxicity inside our body systems, like drugs and alcohol and processed foods. And then some foods are more bioavailable, easier to process. So we have experiences in life that are like that. And just like that, food can get caught inside of our body, create all kinds of blockages and discomfort. The same thing can happen with emotions. They can get trapped inside our body system and then cause a lot of maladaptive habits. So a lot of times we'll have like reoccurring themes or patterns in our life.
Oh, yeah.
I always date this kind of person. I always find myself feeling this way at my job. I always find that I'm making X, Y, and Z choices that don't serve my greater good.
Yeah.
And quite often that's because of never anything in a vacuum. It's always multiple causal factors. But one of the main ones is the fact that we hold on to things, a lot of times having convinced ourselves that we've rid ourselves of them, but we haven't. We've just pushed them down and they begin to grow and grow and grow. And then we're seeing the whole world and making all of our choices through a trauma lens rather than the limitless lens in which we can live and see life through. So removing trapped emotions is a process of getting rid of these stuck and trapped emotions like overwhelm, bitterness, rage, crying, depression, sorrow, feeling unworthy and worthlessness, guilt and grief. It works to dislodge these trapped emotions from the root so that we can shift our baseline, reestablish neural connections and pathways for how we think and behave in the world. Ones that are geared towards our goals rather than towards our traumas.
And helping us to become better, right?
Helping us to become our genuine versions of ourselves, which I would definitely say would be a better version of us. Yeah, because when we live our lives through a lens of fear, we're just not accomplishing so much. We're not trying to do so many things because we feel so fearful, so worrisome. So there's so many choices that we don't make when we live life through a fear lens.
Okay. Yeah. And so it's a lot of times it's like those reference points in our lives and stuff like that, that helps bring us to that specific thought process. Okay. Well, I love that. Thank you for explaining that.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned that like true your bio and stuff like that, that true healing isn't always about talking through pain, but about releasing what no longer serves you. So what does that actually look like in practice? And why do you believe so many people stay stuck in talking about stuck in talking, but not transforming?
Oh, so we get stuck in talking because what we've learned is that when we restate a trauma or share a narrative about a traumatic experience, we actually relive that in our bodies. So the deterrent factor is always there and solid and stable. And every time we revisit that space and place, we add more drama to that event as well. So that's going to deter most people from going down that road. I've seen traditional talk therapy work to re-traumatize people. It wasn't the intention, but it's just something that we now see as a byproduct of the processes that we were using, which was the whole reason why I continued my education in traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurveda and studying these ancient practices from demographics of people who don't suffer from the type of psychosis we do at the mass scale that we do.
Mm-hmm.
So the re-traumatizing using traditional therapy is part of why I now utilize these new techniques and protocols in practice. And what it actually looks like in practice is leaning back in your chair and taking rest for the first time in your life, probably. You know, so many of us are just so overwhelmed, and then we go into what's considered to be a safe place,
Mm-hmm.
and then we just relive these traumas. And the whole idea is to release them, not to relive them. So when you come into session with me, if you feel like talking, because some people are used to traditional talk therapy, so you're welcome to do that. But say you're overwhelmed and you're just lucky that you got out of bed that day. All you
Yeah.
have to do is just show up. I'll just have you lean back in your chair. I'll take you to a place that you feel calm and safe in your mind. And then I just work with your subconscious towards your goals to relieve the traumas from the root. So it might look like, okay, well, there is a lot of, you know, trauma coming around the age of 9 that's really despair anchored in this place of insecurity and vulnerability and heartache. And usually what happens for people is that they're triggered, their subconscious brings up a thought in their mind so that they become aware, this impacted me and it hasn't gone away.
Mm-hmm.
So then what the mind starts to do is store data about the things that have caused harm and the ways in which you've been working through them. And it starts to readjust its baseline. If our baseline is chaos, then we always feel comfortable in chaos.
Yeah.
And when peace comes along, we push it away. We've got to reestablish the baseline so it's able to receive peace, to receive love, to receive kindness, right? Without seeing some of those things as red flags. Because
Yeah.
the truth is, what's familiar, Jacqueline, isn't necessarily what's safe. And that's where a lot of us get stuck. Like, oh yeah, well, this person reminds me of my dad. And it's like, but your dad used to choke your mom. So like, this isn't a safe
That's not a
place.
good thing. Yeah.
This is a
Yeah.
familiar place. You recognize this energy, but familiar doesn't mean safe.
Just give me 1 second.
So it's for the client, it just is very relaxing and creates a space where if they want to talk about the things that come up, they can. For some clients, even just hearing some of the negative words, because of course we're pulling out negative things, can be upsetting. So some clients will just lean back, listen to soothing music, and I just do the work for them. And they'll either process the emotion then, or it's emotional surgery. So just like physical surgery, there's a time that it needs to heal. So at the end of each session, the person receives, okay, it'll take 5 days to fully heal, from 92 days, 17 days, whatever it is to fully heal. And then over that course of time, they'll just begin to see shifts. It's such a unique process for everyone because our traumas are just as unique as our fingerprints. Actually, our traumas aren't as unique as our fingerprints. The way that we process our traumas to deal with them are as unique as our fingerprints. And so the weave that we individually the web that we individually weave is slowly being broken down, sort of piece by piece, tangle by tangle. And you just start to notice that you just feel more like yourself. You're able to take more authority in situations where in the past you might have felt overwhelmed by emotion. whether it starts with not being able to go into the grocery store or not being able to tell your boss that you deserve a raise. Whatever you come in there with, whatever we initially begin to target, because your brain is designed to fix itself, to always reach homeostasis. So if we tell it, hey, this is out of balance, it's going to go to work on its own to rebalance itself. So we're just reprogramming. So for clients, it's just relaxing, it's unburdening, and it's just lightens them over time, and they feel more and more like themselves. Some people compare it to like a Zoloft, like I just wake up and all of a sudden I just noticed that everything was okay. Like that I just felt better. And then for some people, it can be more extreme.
Yeah.
Like I've really decided that what I want to do is pack up and move to Spain and become a dominatrix. Like people, right? They're
Yeah.
all over the board and they're beautiful. And there's no judgment of people's journeys. There's just the fact and knowledge that they're on one, and wherever it leads them, we're always in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just a matter of meeting people there and supporting them where I can.
At this point in my life, I'd love to be able to sell everything and just move out of the country and go live on a beach somewhere or something like that.
It's giving
That would be
2026.
that would be amazing. But unfortunately, by the grace of God, I still have my parents, so they're my main priority right now. So, now, so talking about that, like you've traveled over 70 countries, right?
Yes, I have.
And you've had a lot of different experiences. What do you think you've got the most or learned the most from that?
Oh, goodness. It's hard to pinpoint just one thing, but if I had to, I would say what I've learned most is a deeper, greater sense of myself and and the vastness of the world and thus the universe. Because when you travel the world and you see how different it is from corner to corner, but at the same time, how it's the same, you can also see how small you are.
Yeah.
And how your little piece is just your little piece, and it's a beautiful piece and it's very big to you, but it's all part of a collective. And I think that's the thing that impressed upon me the most is how deeply connected we are as a human race, how all of the assumptions that I made about people, I pulled out of my butt, how, everything isn't what it seems. And when we go inward and when we know more who we are, we can actually see other people in the world around us for really what it is, which is just a collection of millions of people on individual journeys trying to figure out how they all fit together. There's this constant vision of us being broken that I'm just really not here for.
Yeah.
We're not a whole bunch of victims. We're not all broken. We're puzzles. We're about as broken as a puzzle is broken. When you understand a system, you know how to put together a puzzle. You find those edges and then you fill in from there. And then sometimes you take a puzzle piece and you turn it this way. Sometimes we need to change how we perceive things, right? All of the puzzle isn't going to change. All this stuff on the outside isn't going to change.
Yeah.
We change our perception of the outside, and then that changes the reflection of our insides.
And then changes our reality.
It does completely.
Yeah.
And we begin to really understand what it means when we say things like, God is giving us, these are gifts for us. These things aren't happening to hurt us. They're happening to teach us because we decided we wanted to be taught. And always forcing the teachings upon us. Like we decided to come down here and learn a lesson. And we constantly want to work from a shame framework of being punished. I'm not punishing my child because I don't give them 3 ice creams after dinner.
Yeah.
I'm protecting my child,
Yeah.
right? Just because they perceive this experience as negative for them doesn't mean that that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so just the fortitude, the ability to trust fall into the landscape of the world and other human beings. I
Mm-hmm.
think all of that just taught me how important we are, how important it is to have compassion and empathy for people rather than judgment and consternation, and how it's really important to be present in the moment, because when we're present in the moment, we're not internalizing other people's stuff as our stuff. So instead of transmitting pain, we can begin to transmute it. When someone comes to you with anger and you meet them with kindness and resolve, that is, they wouldn't come at you with anger if that wasn't what they knew.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if you show people something different, they start to recognize things differently. And so I think that those travels have changed the whole way in which I engage with human beings. You know, the way in which I'm able to access love and kindness and forgiveness in my heart for other people, and the way I'm able to protect myself by not internalizing other people's challenges as my own. Not my monkey, not my circus.
That's
I
what
have
my aunt says.
compassion for you.
My aunt always says that. Not my monkey, not my circus, none of my
It's
business.
wise words. It's
Yeah.
wise words. Sometimes you have to love people from afar.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think is probably like the biggest common denominator between everywhere you travel, between all humans?
That what we are going through it all alone, and no one will understand us. That's it. That's
Okay.
it.
That's funny.
Everybody carries a little piece of that with them. And
Yeah.
that little piece of that is the thing that keeps people from reaching out to one another. It's what keeps us tucked behind our heart walls.
Okay. So, which yes, I can definitely see that would be the biggest common denominator. But it's like it's such a selfish feeling, right? Because there are other people that are going through similar situations, and I think that's why when people do end up going into like group or therapy or different things to learn how to deal with stuff, they realize that they're not the only one, and that it's okay to feel.
Absolutely.
To
Yeah.
feel and not survive, and not just survive, but actually feel something, you know?
Sometimes when I'm doing this work with people and they're going through an immediate acute trauma, like say a deep grief because someone close to them was just lost or even committed a heinous crime, or sometimes I actually have to leave some of the pain in there because of just what you're talking about. So like I'll remove the depression and the sorrow and the grief and the shame, but have to leave the anger and the bitterness to make sure that person keeps getting up every day. Because one is an energy that'll take you all the way down. Another one is an energy that, yes, it hurts, but it's one of action quite often. So that's very real. Feeling the feelings is very important. One of the most poignant practices I've ever done in my own healing journey was Vipassana, which is the practice of noble silence. Vipassana is free everywhere. It's somewhere, I promise you, there's Vipassana within an hour and a half to 2 hours distance from you. And it is a space where you go, you are fed, you are housed, and you sit for meditation for everywhere from 3 days to 10 days to 30 days, depending on where you are and what they offer. Some places offer longer terms, but you just sit in silence and in meditation during that time. And what it teaches you is the power of sitting with discomfort until it's no longer uncomfortable. Because you neutralize everything around you when you do that. We're always playing into the discomfort through reactionary responses. And that's what
Mm.
keeps our trauma
Oh,
loop
yeah, that's
cycling
so
over and
true.
over. If we can just sit with it, and like you just said, I'm just going to feel these feelings. I'm
Yeah.
not going to judge them. I'm not going to blame them. I'm not going to allow them to snowball. I'm just going to feel them, observe and watch them pass away.
Mm-hmm.
Then that puts you in a whole different framework, in a whole different mindset than acting like the feelings are the problem rather
Mm-hmm.
than the problem is the problem,
Yeah.
which could be the loop, could be the person that you're with, could be whatever. It's
Yeah.
like you're mopping up the blood instead of stitching up the wound.
Yeah.
That's what we're normally doing.
Yeah. Okay. And so not really, so when you talk about that, like you're talking about like not dealing with whatever it is that's creating that wound or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And most importantly, the role that we did or did not play in it. When we're
Mm.
much younger, we like to then grow up and create this blame game as if we caused damage to happen to us as children who had no understanding of the world.
Yeah.
Right? So we'll blame ourselves. Then when we get older, now, well, I am not accountable for anything. Everything's actually my parents' fault,
Yeah.
or that first boyfriend, or
Yeah.
that husband, or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's never just us. It's never the fact that I, was in a maladaptive headspace and chose a person who didn't serve my greater good to be my partner.
Yeah.
Couldn't be that. No, it's them for cheating or lying or doing whatever.
Yeah.
Like like there wasn't a red flag. There's always a red flag. At
There's
least
always red flags. Yeah.
At least one. There's always
Yeah.
one. And you chose to ignore it. And now we don't want to say, oh, I ignored that. And that's kind of why I ended up here.
Right. Because they
it
were
doesn't
who
feel
they
good.
were. And I chose to be a part of it.
And we have to be gracious and understanding that we were who we were too.
Yeah.
And be willing to change that if we don't like how feeling like that, showing up like that, if it doesn't fit us anymore, being willing to change it. And that can be hard, especially if we don't know what it looks like on the other side.
Yeah.
Which is part of a belief system. It's part of a conditioning. It's not true. But somebody's like, oh, you can't reach a goal if you don't know what it looks like and create these objectives and deliverables. That's not true. We set intention every day.
Yeah.
Intention is a goal. I don't necessarily have to have a full-blown map with every pit stop along the way to reach that intention that I've set.
Okay. So let me ask you this, Miss Anne Alexis. How has your relationship with God shaped the way you approach healing, like especially in the space that often blends like different modalities?
Oh, God is healing. It's everything about what I do. There's no way of
Mm-hmm.
separating the two. The gift and blessing of intuition is the muscle that is strengthened through this process of recognizing that we are all deeply connected to one another because we are brothers and sisters of the same source. I
Mm-hmm.
don't care what you call that source, whatever you want to. You can call it source. You can call it the conscious collective. You can call it God. You can call it Allah. You can call it whatever you want. Whatever that thing is that's bigger than all of us and from which we stem, that is where I'm going to do this work. When I tap into the subconscious of another human being, that is God at work. That is me aligning with the creator of you and of me and reading the real feed. The real feed, not the feed on your phone that's created by human beings designed to not help human beings. The real feed, the one that created you.
Mm-hmm.
So it is strengthened not only my relationship with God, but it strengthens all the people who work with me as they begin to align with the divine in a greater way by recognizing how big and expansive yet deeply connected we all are.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll sit on the phone with people and share with them things about their life that I should never know. share with them information from their father or mother or grandparent who is passed, and they will say that is the exact same thing that they said when they were here all the time to me.
Mm.
So as people recognize how not alone they are through
Yeah.
participating in this kind of work, it aligns them with that thing that is greater than them.
Mm-hmm.
And that I am simply being a vessel of channeling in those moments of deep healing, of unlocking people to healing. Like, I've definitely strayed away from all of that labeling, like my podcast Beyond Labels, right? Like, we're all healers.
Mm-hmm.
We're all given the same capacity to heal. We just have to exercise it.
Yeah.
I've chosen to exercise it, to not opt out and put my healing in someone else's hands, but my hands are completely capable. And it doesn't mean that I haven't had people along the way help me on my healing journey. I absolutely have, just like I'm here to help other people. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I have to make the ultimate choice to do the work. We all do. I could pull trapped emotions out of somebody. They could go right back home and put them right back in
Mm-hmm.
by continuing to insist on doing the same things. So we all have to tap into that inner healer inside of us. And when you get this work done on you, it also helps you do that. Realize your capacity to heal greater, because you're taking more ownership and accountability over your capacities to be
Right.
strong and fortified and gifted and blessed and capable, rather than a victim.
Right. Yeah. 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 I find that a lot, like, not a lot, but I find that sometimes when I'm sharing about like something that's happened, and like some struggles that I may be going through or whatever, that I do have a tendency to like put my mindset in this victim mode and saying, oh, this person, blah, 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 whatever. But obviously I had a part to play in that. And I don't like that portion, because I'm not a victim. And I'm like also this powerful person that goes after what I want and takes care of my family and my parents and like all this stuff. And then, but like I'll whine about stuff, and I hate that. I don't like that part of myself. And so it's like, yeah, it's just constantly, like, not constantly, just like reminding myself, okay, like, just tweaking that in my brain and so forth. So to move past that, because there's nothing ever positive that's going to happen in victim mode.
Absolutely. And I think you're going about it the right way. The programming starts in the mind. So every time you hear that little voice that likes to kick you when you're down, that monkey mind,
Yeah.
that, straying, that little devil on the shoulder, it used to be in the cartoons.
Yeah.
When you feel that or hear that and you immediately contradict that verbally and inside yourself, you're working to readjust that framework. Those dualities that you're talking about are very real, especially if you've grown up in a situation where you've had to care for others as a younger person, or take on some of the responsibilities at a younger age, parentification,
Mhm.
that we can find that we are carrying within the mind that we are a victim, and have set up a whole system to showcase that we're not.
Mhm.
We love to do that. We love to play the other role, because that's part of, it's like how a bully is really super hypersensitive and
Mhm.
very wounded and sad. And
Yeah.
so they'll go out and be tough and everything that's the opposite of the weakness that they
Yeah.
feel inside. That's what they'll go and showcase into the world. We all have versions of that we do, where we kind of have these thoughts that creep on us. But when we're out in the world, we're like the opposite of those thoughts.
Mhm.
That's very real. And part of negating them is simply telling yourself different, because what you've been telling yourself is a narrative. And as long as you keep repeating it, you'll keep believing it.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a little anecdote that goes, it's like there's behind the door, you can hear the sound of a meow. And it just goes to show how the brain works. So you ask certain group of people, like, what is that? And they're like, there's a cat behind the door. But there's like infinite things behind that door. It could be a human being behind that door making a cat noise. It could be a recorder playing a cat sound,
Mm-hmm.
right? But so much of what we do is create a narrative and then don't stray from it. It's a cat. It's
Yeah.
gotta be that. It's gotta be that. And then we don't entertain any of the other possibilities. That's what our narratives do that we keep telling ourselves. They block us from entertaining any of the other limitless possibilities that we could choose any day to shift the track of our life. So when we say, that's not true, every time that little voice comes up and you say, and it says you suck, that's not true. I don't know where you got that from. And I need you to work on getting rid of that.
Yeah.
Task your mind, right? I give this burden to the God in me so that I am free. Anytime a negative thought comes up in my mind, anytime I feel a heavy weight that I want to stray from, anytime I'm having trouble articulating thoughts and feelings that are heavy, that is what I do. I say that over and over and over again until I forget whatever my problem was.
Mm-hmm.
And all I'm doing is tasking my subconscious to do the work. Because the critical mind is nothing. There's not the 90% of my brain that I'm trying to use to change my life is the part that I'm never really accessing. So
Yeah.
that's why accessing it becomes so important. The narrative is in the back of the mind, not the front of the mind.
So a lot of times we can have different types of thoughts and stuff like that we're like constantly fixing. We're using positive help, self-motivation books, working on our inner core being and stuff like that. But for you, what have you found to be the most solid foundation in your life that you can rely on when you are not at your best and feeling like and just struggling a little bit? What have you found as like your biggest foundation that you can rely on to help move you past that, to receive that love, to receive like that hope, that knowing that things are going to be okay regardless of what the certain circumstances look like?
Like, I don't want it to sound like a pitch, but emotion code, like emotion code and isolation. Like, I've just done so much. I've worked with plant medicine across the world, food as medicine, ancient techniques on top of volcanoes, diving into the eye of the puma and being smacked down with stinging nettle, like all the things, all the things. I've never found anything that gives me a greater sense of control, which I think is part of the remedy for us. It's a deep part of our conditioning, the facade of control. So even in saying I have this tool and I'm going to activate it, I've already won against whatever the problem is.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not leaning back and saying I am helpless against this design. I love it because there's emotion code, body code, and belief code.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm talking about coding, I'm talking about doing all of those. But emotion code is online for everybody, available to see, and can easily be accessed to shown how to use it using YouTube. Like, it's a basic muscle testing system to use it.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody can if you can knock your knee and your leg bounces automatically, then your feedback system is working and you can do muscle testing. So as long as you go to the doctor and you can do that, then that means that the biofeedback resonance that your body is always giving is working.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we listen to figure out where the trapped emotions are. When I first came into utilizing it, I had to work through the anger that I actually felt for not having had the tools sooner. I had to backtrack through all that grief and judgment and pressure on myself of like, if I had known, if I had just, if you know, the thing that we do,
Yeah.
the rumination. Oh, my whole life would have looked different if I had had this when I was 20. If I had had it in 20, I wouldn't have used it because I'd still
Yeah.
be 20.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, but I have found it to be so helpful because it is the most immediately gratifying and grace offering tool that I can use. I don't have to know or do anything. If I have the energy to pull my fingers, then I have the energy to at least remove one thing that's causing me damage right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's now it's like if I feel off in any kind of way, I immediately am like, code it out.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason. I just woke up today. So what's the problem? Because you know
Mm-hmm.
that's how it is.
Yeah.
I just woke up. So what is it? Why do I feel like crap today? When all I did was just open my eyes. Whether
Yeah.
it was a dream I had last night, whether it's a carryover from yesterday, I don't know. And the thing is, I don't have to know.
Yeah.
I know back here. I don't need to know in my critical mind. My subconscious knows. So I just task the subconscious to do the work. Every morning I scan my body without judgment, recognize where is it hot, where is it cold, where is it ache, where is it whatever. And I say, subconscious, deal with it, balance it out. You know how to do it now.
Mm-hmm.
And then if something persists emotionally, I hit it with the coding system. And then that's maybe 5 or 10 minutes of my day.
Mm-hmm.
And then within the next hours or two, I'm like, oh, okay, I feel back normal now.
Oh, that's good. I pray to God and read my Bible.
It's
I do.
it's
Yeah.
all the same. It's a
Yeah.
conversation with God.
Yeah.
God is my father. If I am talking to me, really talking to me, I am talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
None of it's separate. That's why the mantra is I give this to the God in me, is keeping that line of communication open always.
Mm.
When you keep that line of communication open, you don't feel like you have problems.
Yeah.
Like even the idea of like waking up and being like, that's why I say I feel like something is off. Because there's no such thing as a problem when all you have are solutions. That's like saying that your phone is broken. No,
Right.
it just needs to be plugged in. It ran out of batteries. But if you don't know that, because you're 3 and you don't get that, because you don't have that wisdom yet,
Mm-hmm.
then you stay stuck thinking it's broken.
Yeah.
The more you strengthen that connection, not praying for answers from him, but recognizing that you have the answers because of him,
Mm-hmm.
it creates a whole different dynamic of the relationship. Quite often, that relationship that so many people have with God is going and asking for stuff that he gave you the capacity to provide for yourself, including the capacity to get up and triumph over dark moments. But a lot of times prayers sound like, if you let me do, then I won't. If you get me through this, then I will never X, Y, and Z again. I will never,
Right.
if you just
That's
help
like
me
a
out.
desperation prayer.
Yeah, it's not a hustle game. Like,
Yeah.
come on, man. If you just help me out this one time, then I'll be straight laced. Like,
Yeah,
no,
right.
bring
We
it
all know
into
that's a
you.
lie.
Bring
Yeah.
it into you, right?
So, Ms. Anne Alexis, as we come to an end, like if someone wanted to be able to hire you or bring you on, like where could they do that?
My
Or
website,
learn more about you. Yeah.
AnneAlexisHolistic.com, just like right there on the screen. I am the emotion coder on social media at the emotion coder. I have a podcast and different little healing modalities that I put out on YouTube. Anne Alexis Holistic, Life Coach Anne Alexis. So I'm on the platforms. If you type in Anne Alexis Holistic, you will not be far from finding some way to connect with me. I only see clients after consultation because I want to make sure that we're a good fit and they understand how everything works and what to expect. So you would definitely set up a consultation first, and we would get to know each other a bit. And you could share with me a bit about what's going on with you. We create a healing blueprint, and then we can just take it from there. So it's very specialized and articulated as healing and health should be. We are not one size fits all, as you can see by the current
Yeah.
state of the of America. Like,
Yeah.
we are not one size fits all. We need articulated, specially curated support just for us as individuals, and that is what I offer. The ability to
Awesome.
really get at the root of these things and rid yourself of what no longer serves you so that you can be that best version.
Have you ever considered doing TED Talks?
Yes. Did
You would be
this
great at
work
that.
well? Yeah, you think
you'd be
so?
great at that. Yeah. So,
Yeah, thank you, Jacqueline.
all right. I'm gonna have your links in the bio as well, in the description of the pod. And Miss Anne Alexis, thank you so much for coming on today. It was just an absolute pleasure. Appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing and highly successful week.
Appreciate you too. Thank you so much for the invitation and the opportunity to share.
All right, thank you. Everyone, thank you so much for coming on to another You Are Loved podcast. I really appreciate that. And get your own books. Make sure you check out Miss Anne Alexis Holistic website and check out our website at youareloved.store for any books to help with your children. Have an amazing day.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of You Are Loved. If you have any topic ideas or would like to be a guest on the show, please hit us up on Instagram at youareloved.store.